Okay, now practice now part D. So again I'm going to take two very easy points which are going to be easy to calculate. So okay, this point seems fine to me. See, this point is going to be point A, and this point, now these are full whole number, no points. So A and B, which is, let me write the coordinate, 14, and the coordinate of A will be 4, 2. Right? Now let's make a right angle triangle. Now drop a line from B at this point, and this is going to be 0, and its coordinate are going to be 2, 2. Now gradient, we know rise upon run, and what is the length of rise? Rise is OB, and run is OA. So rise is going to be from 2 to 14. So 14, final value is 14 and initial value is 2. So final value minus initial value upon OA, final value is 4 minus initial value is 2. So 4 and 2. 4 and 2. It's going to be 12 upon 2. After simplification, 2 ones are 2, 2 6 are 12. The gradient will be 6, but we know that it is coming down from the line, the slope is coming down from left to right. That's why gradient will be negative. So before solving question number 3 and question number 4, let's go through these two very simple concepts, the case of horizontal line and the case of vertical line. So if a line is parallel to x-axis, what its gradient is going to be? Okay, now the green line, as we can say, C is represents the straight line. So if a line is parallel to x-axis, its gradient is going to be 0. Let's put 2 points on the straight line, A and B, and its gradient is going to be 0. How it's going to be? As I have told you that uh, gradient means rise upon run, right? So let's calculate its rise and its run. Now run is going to be 1 minus, as we can see, A, B final minus initial. So run 1 minus minus 2, that means 3, and we know that rise is 0. So 0 upon 3 is going to be 0. Hence we can say if a line is parallel to x-axis, its gradient is 0, because yes, and we know that the formula of a straight line is y is equals to mx plus c. So the formula of the straight line in that case, when this line is parallel to x-axis, will become y is equals to c, and c we know is the y-intercept. Alright, our next case is if a line is parallel to y-axis, what its gradient is going to be. So the blue line represents a straight line that is parallel to y-axis. Now to calculate the gradient, first let us put 2 points on the line, and as I have told you that to make the gradient there should be a right angle triangle. So can we see a right angle triangle on this straight line? No. Now let's calculate rise. So the rise of this straight line is 2 minus 0, and run, no, we cannot calculate run because it's not a right angle triangle, it's just a straight line. We cannot make a right angle triangle out of this straight line. So its run is going to be 0. Now the gradient will become 2 upon 0 is in unidentified, or we can say infinity. So if y is equals to mx plus c, which is the equation of the straight line, we know that m is 0 and the y-intercept, we know that the y-intercept is also 0, right? Because this straight line is not cutting the y-axis at any point, so it's 0. Therefore the y-intercept is 0, and hence our equation of the straight line will become y is equals to 0. Now question number 3 from exercise 2A. Find the gradient of these 5 lines, line 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I have explained in the previous concept that if a line, let's look at the line number 2 and line number 5, which are easiest one. So as I have explained earlier, in the case of the horizontal and the vertical line, that if a line is parallel to x-axis, which is line number 2, what its gradient is going to be? Yes, its gradient is going to be 0. And our another line is line number 5, which is the case of vertical line. So I have told you that if a vertical line is parallel to y-axis, what its gradient is going to be? Its gradient is going to be unidentified or infinity. So these are very simple cases. Let's go to another case. Let's calculate the gradient of line number 1. As I have told you that how to find out the gradient of any line. Yes, to find out the gradient of any line, we must calculate its rise upon run. Okay, so the formula for the gradient is rise upon run. And how do we calculate the rise and the run? Simple, we have to take 2 points on that particular line and drop the line, drop the vertical point and make a right angle triangle. Now see, as we can see, I have dropped 2 points A and B, and the third point is going to be 0, and I'm going to do it on roughly on the other side. So that it becomes easy for you to understand the coordinates. So m is equals to rise upon run, which means the rise is the vertical change. It's going to be OA upon OB. And how can we calculate OA upon OB? Simple, we have to find out the coordinates of 3 points and then we can subtract. So, and OA is to calculate the vertical change in OA, we have to minus the final point from the initial point. So OA means 3 minus 1 upon minus 3 minus bracket minus 5. So 3 minus 1 is going to be 2 upon minus 3 minus plus 5 is going to be 2. So 2 and 2 cancel, which becomes 1. So the value of gradient is going to be 1. Now line number 3. So I'm going to draw again, drawing it roughly on the right side so that it will be easy for you to understand. We can see that this line is intercepting the y-axis. So the two easiest points are going to be one, the point being being cut at the y-axis, and the another point is the starting point. So I'm going to take these 2 points and make a right angle triangle. So the intercepting point is going to be A, B is the initial point, and O is the point at which the right angle triangle falls. So A is 0, 2, B is 1, 1, and O is 0, 0. So as I have told you, gradient is rise upon run. Let's just not repeat it over and over again and again. So OA upon OB. So OA is the vertical change. How to find OA? 2 minus 1, and OB is going to be 1 minus 0. So the gradient is going to be 2 upon 1. So the gradient of line number 3 is 2. Now last line is going to be line number 4. So I'm going to take 2 easiest point from the line number 4 and make a right angle triangle. So line number 4, let's look at it. I'm making the right angle triangle roughly on the other side so that you can understand its coordinate easily. One point is A, another one is the one which cuts the y-axis at point B, and the last one is the 0 or O. So the point A is 1 comma 1 and point B, as it's on x-axis, so it's going to be 1.5 and y will be 0. The y coordinate will be 0. And of course O is going to be 1 comma 0. Again, it does not have y coordinate as well. So M, we know, is equals to OA upon OB, and OA means the vertical change, so we are going to minus 1 minus 0. OA is equals to 1 minus 0, and OB is going to be 1.5 minus 1. Now 1 upon, which becomes 1 upon 0.5, and we know that 0.5 is half. So M is going to be, M is equals to 2.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more updates.